to Getting to the Top, where we interview transformational leaders about their leadership journey. And today I have the absolute honor, delight, pleasure, and excitement to be interviewing Martha Miller. Martha is the CEO of National Rums of Jamaica. She is a trailblazer in the global business landscape, defying gender norms and making history in the Jamaican rum industry. 26% of CEOs globally are women, and Martha's ascent to the helm is a testament to her intellect and professionalism. She's a seasoned professional. She's had an illustrious career and has spanned diverse fields such as consulting, business analyst, analysis, business management, advertising, finance, just about everything you can think of. And she has required and relied on all of those skills since joining National Rums of Jamaica as the Chief Financial Officer, Company Secretary in 2013. And she quickly rose through the ranks to become the Deputy CEO in March 2020. Less than a year later, Martha shattered the glass ceiling, becoming the first woman to hold the title of CEO in both National Rums of Jamaica and the Jamaica rum industry. Beyond her corporate successes, she's focused on solidifying her role in cane farming, the National Rums of Jamaica's role in cane farming and waste management, as well as social responsibility. And her dedication to community development is evident in the expansion of the company's ideals and responsibilities to the communities where they are located. She's also the third vice president of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, and she leads with compassion and passion. She's recognized as one of the 6 CEOs honored as the ultimate and most admirable CEO in the international rum industry in 2022. And she's celebrated for her contributions to the industry. She was also in 2023 further celebrated by the Ultimate Awards New York Rum Edition as the ultimate and most admirable CEO. Welcome, Martha.
Hi, Racquel. How are you? I'm listening to you. I'm like, who's Racquel talking about?
I wonder what is that like? You would have lived through all of these things, but understanding that these are things that you have done, is it sometimes like awe-inspiring when you hear it and realize that it is in fact you?
I like the way you put it. It's awe-inspiring and it's really humbling for me. I'm like, I did all of that? Wow. I just never stop to think about it. I just do things and keep going. And when people talk about it or it's commented on or it's raised in a forum, I'm like, wow. Or when I hear it so eloquently put together as you have just done, I'm like, wow, I'm honored. I really am honored.
As you should be, because, when we talk about how many CEOs globally are women, and that the fact that it's not half, and it's definitely not a majority. But in the rum industry, it's even rarer to find women at the helm of these companies. And this has been historic.
It is.
So to be doing that and to be doing that so well, that has to be challenging. It has to rely on all of your skills. It has to speak to the fact that you're able to lead differently and to bring something to the table to make you stand out. So tell us about the career. How did it start? What did you think you were going to do?
So I've never really thought about, and we're talking about life and how I have dealt with things and made decisions in terms of my next steps in my career or school. I've always done what I liked. Unfortunately for my peers, I've never done what I don't like. That was a battle with them. I don't do things I don't like. I didn't do it. So I left university. I always liked math, so I went to university and I said I was doing math. And I got to calculus, I'm like, no, I don't like that anymore. So I'm going to do computer science. I don't like to read. I was like, I'm not doing history. I'm not doing any of those subjects. I went to natural sciences at the University of the West Indies. And I did computer studies. And I enjoyed it. Computer studies with the management arm. So I did economics and I did economics and I did accounts to balance it. Then So it's a matter of what did I like? And I was an excellent degree. And now that I look back at it, it really was solid. It was a solid methodology that I learned that I use today in how I process and do things. That's I'm a computer science major.
Mhm.
Then I went on and went to work, and my mother was like, there's a job at ICWI. I would like you to work there. So I'm like, okay. So I applied for the job. I got the job, and I was in internal audit. And that was an excellent opportunity where it saw me just by applying myself and being present and ready to assist at all times as I realized that that's one of my key skills. I was able to transition quickly through the organization. I got a couple of promotions while I was there. I became a chartered accountant. I seized that opportunity because, okay, it's available, I'll do it. And then I moved to ICD. And there again, opportunities came where I was able to move out of the out of the auditing department, and I moved into the financial reporting department. An opportunity then came for me to go to search with the general manager of finance. And I'm like, sure, I'll seize that opportunity. So I didn't go looking for things. I was in a position, here's a new opportunity, and I seized the opportunity. I then left there and I left ICD and I went to Cable and Wireless. And at Cable and Wireless, that was a new opportunity to learn about the telecoms business. So I was a mobile business analyst. So I had to understand all of the analysis of mobile business. That was something new and totally different because it's not something you can touch. Most of the environment had been in it, something that I could touch. You can't touch airtime. So I moved from an industry where I could touch the products I was dealing to an industry where you can't touch. It's not something you can feel. So I had to understand the process of airtime and how we deal with airtime, which was quite interesting for me. I loved it. I loved the environment. I loved the people that I work with. I learned a lot. It was an environment where there was a lot of people in the industry sitting around you that you could learn from. So I moved from there. I went through there till I had several promotions, and I left and I went to Incomex, and then I returned to Cable and Wireless for a second stint. And then I moved to National Rooms. And through all these occasions, I was getting promotions. So my second stint at Cable and Wireless, I was promoted to, I went in as the vice president for financial planning. And then I was promoted, I was acting CFO for a stint. And then I was head of controlling. That's another complicated, but I had another position there. And then I left and I came to National Rooms as a CFO. And rum is also something different. It's now
you can definitely touch that.
Yeah, you can definitely touch that. But it's full-fledged manufacturing, and so liquids and it's not components where you can say, so in the branded business, it's a bottle, it's a cork, and you can count them. Rum is a little bit different. So when you're doing the production of a liquid and trying to assess that, it's a little bit different. So that's a whole new thing that I had to learn. And the industry and what happens with molasses. And the most interesting thing for me, and I get it now, is molasses and the price of molasses. I can pay $300 a ton, or I can pay $200 a ton, and it will depend on what's happening with beet sugar, regular sugar. If there's a drought in Malaysia, in the Philippines, it's just so many factors that affect it. So just the entire production of rum is just so interesting. How much molasses you have, how much sugar you have in, depending on what's happening with your substrate, what your product is going to look like, and the fact that I can produce rum on one side of the street and you produce rum on the other side of the street, and you can't replicate it because the yeast on my side of the street don't live on the yeast in the wild yeast on my side of the street. Don't live in the wild on your side of the street. So it's quite interesting how interesting all the factors that go into rum production. And it also has now taken me into marketing. So I was always a numbers girl behind the scenes dealing with it. Now I've had to interact more with people. And that is a new thing that I'm learning. That's a new thing that I'm learning, being marketing.
I remember when we crossed paths at Caves and Wireless, you were always incredibly smart. And you also always listened intently, like you were always like absorbing information in order to make decisions.
Yeah.
And so, in thinking about that, I can see how you would be promoted, time and time again, because you were always very sharp, always very like intently taking in information, analyzing that information, and making decisions. But what would you attribute it to? Did you, and of course, I love this concept of, I've followed things that I was passionate about because that allowed me to jump straight in.
Mhm.
But you were always being promoted, and it wasn't something that you were necessarily pursuing. So what was it that you would attribute it to?
And I think you hit the nail on the head. It is being present when somebody needs you to be present, and always thinking about what you're doing. And people understand that when you are presenting a position, it's something you've thought about, and you can explain the reasoning behind it, right? I think that is what has been the advantage that I've always brought to the table. That's the skill set that I've always brought to the table. I sometimes don't have a lot to say, but most times it's an informed position, and I encourage people to come to the table with an informed position. If I'm always willing to go the extra mile. I've never looked at my job as, to be honest, most times I don't know what my job description is. I've never paid attention to my job description. I don't need a job description. I do the job that's required to be done. So whether I'm operating within the remit of my job, or I've gone outside the scope of my job, I've never thought about it. I've just always been willing to support and help as much as I can for the betterment of the organization that I'm with. Right? That's always been my game. And to learn as much as I can. Always willing to learn, always willing to take on the challenge. And I think that's what has always helped me.
And in terms of how you lead others, what is that like? How would the people that you lead describe you?
I'm very supportive. Oh, first of all, I'm the mother hen. I'm the mother hen. I can't get that out of me. I'm the mother hen. When we travel, I'm always making sure everybody's okay. One of my junior blender, she was going to New York by herself a couple of weeks ago, and I was so anxious. And she was going to be staying in Manhattan by herself, and I was so anxious for her. I was like, "Are you okay?" She says, "Mama Bear, I'm good. I'm okay, Mama Bear, I'm okay." Once she got there and everything. So I'm very passionate about my people, about their well-being, and making sure that they're okay. For me, that's the first priority, to make sure that my people are okay. I take that responsibility very seriously. And then in leading them, I consider myself to be a leader in transition, getting better at what I do. I know what I'd like to do. I know how I'd like to be viewed. Am I perfect at it? I consider myself to be learning, right? As I say, I consider myself to be a learner in transition. So I try to listen, right? I am getting better at empowering my people and trying to get them to take ownership for their job, and giving them the latitude to take ownership for their jobs. I find I try to be a good teacher. So in leading my people, I try to help them to make the next steps. I try to help them, to give them the tools. Sometimes I think I do too much, Sometimes I think I really pamper them too much. They're paid to do a job. Some people would say, like, you're paid to do a job. Go out there, do the research, and figure out what you need to do to get your job done. But I find I hold their hands a lot. So I'm a hands-on leader in terms of holding their hand to help them to get there, giving them the guidance, trying not to tell them what to do, but rather asking a lot of questions so that to try and stimulate their thought process to get it done themselves. Yeah.
Do you let them fail?
I try not to let them fail. You know, sometimes they will fail, but I won't let them fall off the edge.
Okay.
You know,
Because
I
there's a
try
lot
not to let them. I try not to let them fall off the edge because I don't want the business to fall off the edge.
Right.
But if the business is not going to fall off the edge, you're going to fail and then we're going to fix it together. But
Yeah.
only through sometimes when you fail sometimes that you can learn.
Yeah. And I
You
think
know?
that's a hard, in such a high stakes business, that is so difficult to just know when to let them fail so that they learn the lesson versus continuing to kind of catch before they fall because you need to save the business. So figuring out when is this an acceptable level of failure to learn, and this is unacceptable, and we have to have a higher standard, and I have to protect. So what is
Exactly.
the part of your job that you enjoy the most?
Part of my job that I enjoy the most, is a constant learning. I'm constantly learning. That's what I enjoy most. I love the fact that I'm learning. I actually do love leading people. I found that I do love it.
That's
I do
unusual.
like, yeah,
Most
I
people
do
will tell you
like
that's
it.
the
I love
hardest
to
part of the
see.
job.
It's the hardest part of the job. It's the most, but for me, it's the most rewarding when I see people achieve and I see them grow. That is what I really love and appreciate because it's something that's going to go with them forever.
Yeah.
They will, and people, some people believe that change is, or people changing in a job is, some view it as a negative thing. I view change as a positive thing because if you're in a position, or I've helped you to put yourself in a position, I don't have an opportunity for you in my organization, but somebody else has an opportunity for you that's going to further advance your life and give you greater opportunities. And I have contributed to your developing the skills that have allowed you to get this new opportunity. I'm very happy for you.
Yes, and
You
look
know?
at and look at your career, right? It wasn't like you sat in one place and you stayed in one role, and you kept growing and you kept moving, you kept evolving, and you kept learning new things, and that kept opening up new doors for you. So why would you want any less for the
For
people that you
anyone
care
else.
about, that you lead? Yeah, I think
Exactly.
that's such a great point.
Yeah,
Such a
so
great point.
I'm excited about leading people and seeing them. So there's a particular member of staff I was having that conversation today. We're in a meeting and he started talking about things and explaining how things should happen and approaches we could take to things. And I just started beaming, and the other person who must said, I'm so proud of him. He has changed so much from when he came here.
Yeah.
He's been here for more than 5 years and he's such a different person. He has grown so much as a professional, his strategic output, look on life. And I remember when he just came and I used to ask him all the questions, he hated it. But no, he appreciates because he finds himself asking the questions, and going through the process. And I'm just so proud when I can see people change like that, and I know that I have contributed to that change. That's what I like about my job.
Beautiful. And what's the thing that you're either learning now or most looking forward to learning next?
I'm learning now, and I'm really looking forward to getting better at it, is sales. It's sales and marketing.
But it's rum. Rum sells itself.
Rum is very competitive around the world.
Yeah.
And rum is so different. It's so different. So I'm really, marketing is new for me. And I really am loving the nuances of developing a product, or the nuances of selling a product. And, I'm loving the going on the stage. And I would say easily when I was 3 and a half years ago when I started this job, to go on a stage or to sit here and have this conversation, I'd have been petrified.
Really?
You know, yes. No, it's become more natural for me. I enjoy it. I enjoy the talking. I enjoy the conversation. I always learn something from the conversation, and I feel I come out of it a stronger, more informed person. So I love that.
I would have
I'm
never
more.
guessed. I would have never guessed. Really?
Yes, I'd have been petrified. I would have. I had to be shaking. I wouldn't like to speak. The first time, so the first time I went for Rum Festival, so we can talk about it. It's actually public, but I'll talk
Yes.
about it. The first time I went to Rum Festival and I had to do the interview, it took them half an hour to get the 30 seconds that I had to say. Half an hour. I kept stumbling over my words. It was ridiculous. So the second year I went and I was laughing like, guys, we got on one shot, and we all laughed that it was, the camera shy. I'm not camera shy anymore. I went to the Tales of the Cocktail last year, and I sat, and it was a room that might have had maybe 200 or 300 people in the room, maybe 200 people in the room, I feel like, but maybe 100. I don't know numbers. I can't judge a room. But I sat and I looked at the audience, and I saw a lot of people, and I was okay. I didn't feel nervous. And I was like, this is okay.
Yeah.
This is okay. So I appreciate that it has brought out that side of me. It's built my confidence. I'm more comfortable to introduce myself to people. I would normally, if I don't know you, or I didn't think you remembered me, I might walk past you because I was too shy to say hi. In fear of you're not remembering who I was. No, I'm like, hi, I'm Martha Miller. I met you so and so time ago, and I'll strike up a conversation. Some people are warm and friendly, some people are not. But I move on. You you never, if you don't ask, you won't receive.
Yeah.
So I've shed those feelings of not asking, and I've received a lot.
And that's the thing, you have to open yourself up to be willing to re-engage somebody or remind somebody, or they may be just as shy as you are. But of all of the words that I would have used to describe you, and there are many, I would have never said shy. I would have
And that's
never said
interesting
shy.
because if I know you, I'm not shy. But if I don't know you, I'm very shy.
But that's
I used to be.
great though.
I used to be. Mm-hmm.
But that's amazing, because I think for anybody who's listening and they are shy and think, oh my gosh, I couldn't possibly be in this very visible role as a CEO. And it's not, a CEO of some quiet, unnamed, little entity. This is an entity that has presence and people see you. And you are willing to be seen in the shyness and go to events from rooms full of people and engage in the shyness and still battling the shyness, and then eventually it's better, which I think is amazing.
It's better. And I think part of it is just being me. I'm like, Martha, you're you. It doesn't matter. So you're a CEO. What's in a title? That doesn't make you a person, right? So I was in Paris at the Paris Rum Fest in 2023. And it was myself and my senior blender, and we're behind the bar, and we're talking to individuals, and some people come up and they're talking to us and chit-chatting and things. And they said, hi, so if we wanted to know more about Money Musk Rums, or to come to Jamaica, or I don't remember exactly what the question was. And then they respond, I said, well, I'm the CEO. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I should have recognized you. Oh, Martha, it's you. And I was like, what do you mean by it's me? And these things happen all the time. And because I'm just mingling with the crowd, and I just enjoy what I'm doing. I don't use it as I just enjoy what I'm doing. I don't take fame from it. I just enjoy what I'm doing. And I'm just humbled, and proudly humbled when I realize that people all over the world that I've met are like, you're Martha Miller, that the rum lady in Jamaica. I'm like, yeah, that's me. It really is. It's interesting. In my shy self, I do what I gotta do.
And so what are you most proud of in your career? And this has spanned many different industries, and I love that about it, because it means that you've learned so much from one industry to another industry to another industry and been exposed to so many different sort of ideas and ways of doing things and methodologies and customs and cultures. But what are you most proud of in your career? What's the thing that, you're like, it's all right?
It's all right. Actually being appointed CEO of National of Jamaica. It's a man's world and it's a tough world. And when my bosses, the board, felt complete confidence in saying, Martha, we'd like you, when Neil Glasgow retires, we'd like you to assume the role as CEO. I didn't expect it. I was totally floored. But to feel that they had that confidence in me to take the business to the next level was such an honor. Scary, but such an honor.
But I know that you feel that support, right? Because one, they had the
100%.
confidence in you, and now you have their support in leading this organization with these wonderful people representing brand Jamaica all over the globe. And that is
Yes.
something to be very proud of.
I'm very proud of that. I'm very honored. And I mean, I feel blessed with the support that I have from my directors, my shareholders. I really am blessed with the support that I have from them and the confidence that they have in me and the latitude that they give me to fail and plow my way back through it to the other end and come out better at the end of it. I really do. I really do.
So what is the advice that you would give? You would go back and give, let's say, to 18-year-old Martha.
The 18-year-old Martha, continue, well, 18-year-old Martha. So it's not necessarily what I did. So I was going to go back to say 18-year-old Martha, live your passion. I would still say live your passion. Reach for the stars. Never say no, unless, of course, it's something that's going to compromise the integrity, because I'll never do that. Right? Never say no. Be prepared to fail and learn from your failure. And the sun will come out tomorrow. No matter what you're doing, however you feel about it, the sun is going to come out tomorrow. This too will pass.
Yes.
The sun will come out tomorrow. So just keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah, no, there's so many times, right, in your career where you feel like, oh my God, this is it. This is the end of the road.
Yeah. And it was, I take for granted my capacity to absorb several things at the same time and manage several responsibilities at the same time. And it was, I've been married for 21 years, going 22
Wow.
years. And my husband and my children are my biggest supporters, okay? But I come home and I do what I need to do to support them. And the other day I was sitting with my husband, I was helping him with something. We're dealing with a personal matter. And when we got home, he said to me, how do you do that? And it's the first time he's ever said it to me. I said, what do you mean? How do you do so many things at the same time and get them all done? And I'd never stopped to think about it before.
But that must be good though, to get that acknowledgement that, even after 21 years of marriage, that you're seen, and that you're seen for who you are and what you do and how many ways in which you are amazing. Is that?
And when I tell you I'm blessed, I get that from my husband and I get it from my girls. I think my biggest, there was I thought about a question and it was, what was the question? What has been my biggest influence in life? Or who are my biggest influencers in life? And you think about, so people talk about all kinds of fabulous people, or it could be Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Aristotle, I don't know. I know my greatest influence in life is my husband and my daughters. Because they, every time I do something well and they feel so proud of me and they support me, and I'm like, yes, I can do this. I can go to the next step. I can make a big difference. They make me strive for the next level.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I love it. I'm blessed. Right at home is where I get my biggest cheerleaders, the ones who strive me to be the best I can be, you know?
And that must be great as well, to have like that safe space so that you can go out and conquer the world, but you can come back home and have a space, a safe space with your people, especially as somebody who's shy. You have that nurturing environment at home that helps to kind of fill up your cup so that you have something to pour from.
Exactly. Exactly. I come into work. I mean, my Ingrid, my CFO, she had been here a few weeks, and Ingrid, I bounced off it. Hi, everyone. She says, how do you do that every morning? Every morning you come here like a burst of sunshine. Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm like, because I'm happy to come to work. You know, I left home a happy person, and I'm happy to come to work. You know, I have great people around me who, whatever is going on, I have a team that I can sit down and talk it through with and say, how are we going to get out of this problem? And we're going to hold our hands together and we're going to go forward. I'm not coming to work stressed to say I'm fighting a battle with this one, I'm unsupported by this one. You know, I'm not coming to office with all of that burden. I'm coming to office where I feel supported by my team. I feel supported by my superiors. If I have a problem, I'm happy to come to work.
But how much of that is you and your attitude, and how much of that is luck of the draw? Because sometimes I feel as though we make our own luck in some of these circumstances, right? Like you find there are people who go from job to job and they are happy wherever you put them. And that is because it's them. They are
Yes.
happy inside of them. There's a light that's shining from inside of them. And other people who are unhappy wherever you put them, no matter what it is, they're unhappy. And so I'm not saying that there aren't environments that are challenging or there are places that are not a good fit. I have certainly been in places that have not been a good fit, or places that just bring you down and kind of drag on your spirit and energy. But I also think that there is something to be said for having that inner light. And I don't know if it's being grateful, or maybe having that place at home that supports you and nurtures you so that you have joy when you come into a space. But how much of that is you've been lucky in the spaces, or who you are as a person?
So, you know, I had a situation once where I'd say a coach would have said to me, Martha, you have to recognize that the glass is empty. The glass is not half full, the glass is empty. You know, because I was dealing with a situation and I was trying to figure out how we could make the situation work and how we could. And she said, Martha, the glass is empty. You have to recognize. And that's true. I always see the glass half full and I'm always trying to make it work. I said, no, Martha, this glass is empty.
Glass
You have to
empty.
recognize that it's empty. You know? So I think a lot of it is me and my
Okay.
unwillingness to see a half empty glass and always to view the positive on the other side. Because yes, you're correct. There are times when it's difficult. I have been through situations in one situation, it was 2 years of just holding strain and just putting one foot in front of the other, closing the door sometimes and just not needing to interact with anybody just to make it through the day. But I always focused on the good that was there. So I was learning in that situation. I was learning. It was a great opportunity. There were great people around me otherwise, you know, than the challenge that I was dealing with. And I've had two clear cases where I've had to go through that and just be a big girl and just keep going. But I've always looked at the benefit at the end of the day.
Yeah.
and what I can achieve from this and what I'm learning from this, and handle the negative or the challenges. Just take them daily
Yeah.
and keep
I-
going because
I
of the
think
bigger picture.
that's great. I think that's great advice.
Mhm.
You know, to be able to find the good in wherever you are so that
Mhm.
you can make it through and still enjoy the experience and get the benefits, figure out what you're learning, figure out how you're growing, even in the spaces that aren't completely serving you. And if you focus on those positive things, I think that helps a great deal in how you're able to thrive in an environment or how you're able to succeed in an environment because you're focusing on those things that
Correct.
support you and help you to grow. And so
Exactly.
then if I asked you, what's the best advice you've ever received, what would that be?
You know, I always go back to a simple phrase, have faith.
Mm.
You know, in whatever adversity, whatever challenge you're facing, have faith. I always go back to that simple phrase, have faith.
Do you
You
remember
know,
who gave you that advice?
I don't remember.
Mm.
I don't remember. I don't remember where I've learned that. But it's
Okay.
something that has just been a part of my DNA. I don't know if it is my parents, maybe.
Maybe.
My mother is probably somebody who would have told me something like that. Yeah. It's probably something that I've learned from my mother. Sorry.
I'm sure
Yeah,
she'd be
something like
delighted
that.
to know that she's not getting credit for it because we're not sure.
Might have been her. I really think
Let's give her the credit. Let's give her the credit. Let me tell you, what I know for sure, 100% about mothers is there's a lot of stuff they do they don't get credit for. So if she gets credit for something that she didn't do, you
Mhm.
still she's still owed more than she's received. So
The
let's give her
old
credit.
one.
Have faith.
Yeah. And the other thing, and when my daughter said it to me the other day, she's studying mechanical engineering, and engineering is a tough degree, right? Any engineer will tell you, and I'm seeing it with them, is that engineering is a tough degree. And when I see her going through the challenges of the day, and I hear her use the phrase, "Mommy, you gotta do what you gotta do," I beamed because she got it from me. That's my philosophy. You gotta do what you gotta do. You know, so that's my favorite. That's one of my favorite phrases. Gotta do what you gotta do. Um, just prepare your mind for it. Clear your mind of all the emotional burden of, am I going to get this? Blah blah. Just say, I gotta do what I gotta do. Clear it, and that clears my mind. And I say, okay, I have clear thought. What do I need to do? I need to do A. I need to do B. I need to do C. If I do A, this could happen. B, this could happen. And prepare myself for all the different scenarios and go forward. But until I get myself in that framework, I can't stumble.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
I
about
will
that
stumble.
mindset, right? It's about getting
It's
your head
about the
in that
mindset.
space. Yeah, getting your head in that
About the
space
mindset.
about your mindset so that you are aware of this is what's at stake and this is what has to be done. Gotta do what I gotta do, and I have to have faith, right? And find the good things in this potential situation, no matter how there are always going to be things in a situation that are not ideal. So you can't avoid that. But if you figure out what are the things that are good, and then you do what you got to do, then you'll persevere.
Exactly. Exactly. Wrapped nicely.
I
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
I love it. Martha,
Mhm.
thank you so much for this conversation. I have really appreciated it. I've also missed you, I have missed you, so it's been so lovely to get a chance to talk to you.
It
And it's
really
been
has been.
wonderful watching from the sidelines, seeing all the amazing things that you've been doing.
Yes. And the same here as I watch you in your green space.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I was happy to hear that, you're looking at resilience and considering all of those things like the price of molasses and how much like what's happening in the environment is impacting the prices of your inputs to be able to produce rums and everything else.
Yes.
Resilience is everybody's role right now.
Resilience is everybody's program. Yeah.
Yeah. But great to see you, and I can't wait to see you in person, and I hope that's going to be soon.
I hope that soon.
Yes. All right. So thank you so much for staying with us and for watching. And I hope you learned a lot about doing what you got to do and figuring out the way to just get into that mindset that's going to help you to succeed. Because if you are curious and, learning, always learning and paying attention and being in the moment, in a space, and being willing to try different things and follow your passion so that you always feel energized and engaged. And you also create that supportive cocoon that helps you to be filled with joy as you go about what you're doing. You will persevere and you just have faith and you'll get it done. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Bye.